Hello, loves. Welcome back to the channel. And we are diving in with another episode of From Service to Self. And we have Miss Kristal Pena, the guest for today. Yes, thank you, honey, for coming and being a part of this episode with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to dive right into my first question, Pena. We actually already had our keys before we started, and so I am so excited to catch up, like legitly, and hear all that you have going on and talk about your transition and all that good stuff. So, the very first question, Pena, tell us what branch of service you served and how many years.
I served in the United States Navy active duty for a total of 16 years and then 10 years as a Navy reservist. So 26 years total in US Navy. That's where it's at.
Hoorah, hoorah, Navy, all day long, the best branch there is. Okay, so
Second's Marines. Second is Marines.
look, I don't know. I don't know. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it. Okay. First question. What inspired you to join the military, and what do you remember most about your time in service?
Well, it was a life event. I had broken up with my high school sweetheart, or I should say, he broke up with me. I told myself it was mutual, but now when I look back, it was really him, and it devastated me.
I see.
At the time, my brother was joining the Navy, and he said, they have a buddy system. He was trying to get his E3 out of it. I didn't realize pressuring me into this joining the Navy thing. So we joined together. And so it wasn't really an inspiration. It was more of a turn of events in my life. And I strongly believe God has a path for you. And if you listen to him, he guides you in that direction. I prayed about it. Next morning, I said, all right, I'm joining with you. And 2 weeks later, we were in boot camp, me and my brother. And that's how I joined the Navy.
Yay! That's
Yeah.
what's up. That is what's
Mhm.
up. Well, so you already gave us the history on that because not a lot of people know that there is a buddy system in the military and that you can join with a friend or
Yeah.
family and go into together, and that kind of does help you go through that whole transition, and it helps eases it when you have somebody that you can
Right.
go in with it. So that's really good. That's really really good.
Yeah. 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 It was.
Second question, what has been the most challenging part of transitioning to civilian life, and what has helped you the most?
I would say the most challenging, definitely more helpful stuff, but definitely some challenges too.
Okay.
The civilian workforce, it's just not as accountable. It's not in that mindset of make it happen. It has to get done. No matter if it's hard, we're going to figure it out. It's kind of like, well, I can do it later, or someone else was probably going to do it if I don't do it.
Yeah, I know that.
That's kind of the attitude I felt, and it was very frustrating. So at first, when I joined the civilian workforce, um, I had that attitude like, "Hey, we got to get things done," and they looked at me kind of like an authoritarian almost, you know. And I was like, "Wow, am I?"
Yeah.
So you have to do a lot of self talk, and I think it's human nature to down ourselves before we talk ourselves up.
Mm.
But I didn't let it stand in my way. I took what I learned from the military and what really made me successful and what I learned from everybody, because man, it is a network of people. You meet people from all walks of life.
Mm.
You learn about different cultures and how they overcome things or how they deal with things. So you learn and you grow. And I think the biggest thing for me was knowledge is power. So I learned so much from the military. Then it benefited me from the challenges that I faced when I was in the civilian workforce, which was I felt like nobody really was 100% accountable for their actions.
Mm.
You are kind of an empowering factor for them because you still walk that walk and be very, very strong in who you are and what you learn and kind of be positive about it. Because if you go at them on a negative,
Mm.
they don't want to listen to you. You
Yeah.
got to be the power of positive thinking is my motto for life. Approach everything positively and know that they have a purpose and that they come from a background as well. You can't always think you're right. You can't always think that what how you do ways is the only way it can be done. That was a hard pill for me to swallow also. Um, because I was looked up in the military as this, that, and whatever. Then you got to start over in the civilian world. They don't know
Yeah.
who you are. They don't know what you bring to the table. They're like, who is this drill sergeant over here trying to tell me what to do? So you got to take a step back and observe and know that everyone has a place at the table. How do you get the best working group of all of those factors to be a team? And I think it's patience. You
Mm.
got to have patience.
Yeah.
And again, just be positive. Don't come at them. negatively. And yeah, it's a more strengths for sure
Yeah.
I feel you bring to the civilian workforce coming from the military.
Got you. No, I can totally relate. And honestly, I hear those stories even now. Oh, my best friend still being in the Navy. A lot of people get out and they still, like you said, have that mindset, they have that attitude, they have that structure, they have that discipline, and they go into the civilian workforce talking to the civilians who have never served in that same mindset, in that same manner, and in that same tone. And people are like, what? Who are you? Right? Like, go somewhere and sit down. Like, you just get on the job, and you just because you just came from the Navy or the
Yeah,
military, you're not running nothing around here. So that in itself can be an adjustment. And we talk about like in previous episodes and just on my channel, period, identifying like re-identifying yourself when you get out the military. And that is exactly like a part of that. It can be hard.
it is.
I will say you're not nobody when you get out of the military, but you're
Right.
not who you were, right?
Nope.
You're not serving the same people. You're not in command the same way. It is very different, and that transition can be hard. So I can totally
Yes.
relate, and thank you for speaking on that because there are a lot of people who are struggling with that even now, especially
Yeah.
we call them the old salty sailors who are just now retiring and they are
Hmm.
having that struggle now. So if you are listening, listen up. Get out
Yes.
with a soft mindset, and kind of transition easy, right? Don't get out here trying to command people because you're not
Yeah.
going to be doing that.
Yeah, and action speaks so much louder than words. It's those
Facts.
old school lessons that your parents taught you. It's the same lessons in life
Yeah.
that carry over to this because
Facts.
those people that do 30 years or 30 plus years, I commend them, but it is going to be a little bit harder to get into that
Yep.
civilian workforce. But great for them. They made it. You know what I mean? They got that extra income. They maxed it out. But it is kind of like starting over. But who
Yeah.
cares? I mean, be grateful because a lot of these civilians are never going to have even half of the opportunities or the
Facts.
monetary stuff they're already bringing in. And you just got to sit back and be, hey, you
Yeah.
made it. You
Yeah.
made it already. Calm
Exactly.
down.
You did.
Calm
Exactly. Is that right? Right. You are already in a place. And like seriously,
down.
I can understand that and I totally agree. And thank you for that point because that is very important. Moving on to question 3. How has your identity changed since leaving the military, personally or professionally? You already touched a bit on it, but talk a little bit more about that.
My identity is more, I'm a mom. You know, when you're in the
Aw.
military, yeah, because I feel like when you're in the military, and you introduce yourself, you go to a new command, you're at indoc or whatever. I don't know what it is, but you introduce yourself of what commands you're in, what you're in charge of, what collaterals you did, what leadership schools you went to. Uh, when you're
Yeah.
in the civilian world, to me, and it's a little sad, it's a little disheartening sometimes because I think you're geared up so much with those mission
Yeah.
roles that you forget your place on this earth as a woman, if you have kids, is a mom. Number
Yep.
one is a mom. So I've really felt that as my identity shift. Wait, not that I love my kids anymore. I've always loved them, but you do get a little, and I hate to say the word brainwash, but you focus so much on being successful for your command or your unit. Um, it it kind of makes you realize like, oh man, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But I've always known that I love being a mom and being transitioned into civilian. I feel that more impactful more than ever. I do have more time because I'm not always thinking like this, that. What's next? It's, I guess, maybe being older too. You know, you realize what's really important, what you are producing to be replacing you when you leave, and how many lives are they going to impact from the lessons that you taught them. And I think that is really, really important. Now, my identity is I'm a mom. How great can I make my kids to make this earth a better place? Because let's be honest, there's a lot of bad things going on.
Yeah.
And maybe it's
Facts.
because I'm getting older, but I feel like humanity is like down the drain. You know, people just don't have empathy for others. And that is so wrong because we're all in the same rat race, if that's what you want to call it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so for me, my identity change of I'm not a senior chief petty officer. I'm a mom and I'm producing some amazing humans. That's what I notice about myself when I kind of realize like, hey, that made me who I am. What am I now to give back? You know, and it's definitely being the best mom that I can be for my daughters, my 4 daughters.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Like that
Yeah.
is amazing, honest to God. And that it hits home for me because that was the reason why I got out the military. And not a lot of people know that, but I did not
Mhm.
want to leave my son behind. I didn't want to go on the ship again and leave him behind,
Yep.
because I would
And
miss
I was
so
up for a
much.
ship at that
Yeah.
9-year mark. I was up for a ship. I was like, I'll go reserve and I'll choose if I want to go back to active duty,
Yeah.
which I did. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. I do love that. And then so I hear you talk about like your role now and your identity now is, and you're focused on this, and this is your goal is you want to be the best mom. I know a lot of people I talk about on this channel too. A lot of women lose themselves in the role, right? In the role, your role right now is mom. And I don't hear you losing yourself. I hear you making that a part of who you are and like living in that and thriving in that and that being just your center. And that's a good thing. That's really a good thing. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah, we all grow, we all change, and I think what happens is you look back on things and you feel bad, right? You feel
Yeah.
like, "Man, how could I ever think that that was more important than being with my 4-year-old or my 5-year-old or being at a volleyball game?" Um, and then you think you're a piece of crap or something.
Yeah.
Don't You can't think that way. That negative talk, it's a rabbit hole. It leads to addictions. It leads to worry, anxiety. How can you make yourself better? The best people that have empowered me are the ones that were all the way up here, went all the way back down, and went all the way back up.
Yeah.
Someone that can have nothing and grow to be everything from just their hard work and
Yeah.
knowing that they got to take baby steps and they got to get there. And so, yeah, I think it's all about learning and growing and accepting who you are as a whole,
Yeah.
not just when you're at your prime.
Yep. I
Yeah.
love that. No, I totally agree. Totally agree. Let me ask you question number 4. What role does style, self-care, or self-expression play in your life today?
You know, Everyone's different, everyone's unique, how they grew up, what their parents told them was important, that's all in you. So for me, um, I I love being in shape. It helps my mental state.
Yeah.
I don't feel like myself if I don't get a good workout. I love being sporty and fit because it makes me feel better, but what's really got me to continue, because it's harder when you get older, the
Yeah.
joints start
Right.
hurting, you're a little more tired,
Exactly.
um, is the so many people have came back in my life and told me, "You said this. You told me this one workout routine. I remember you telling me this or showing me this, or I just remember looking at you one time being like, wow, I want to walk those steps one day." And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I just from working out and showing them like these tips and tricks and like maintaining my fitness over the kids that I've had and running
Yeah.
a marathon when I was pregnant, like the crazy things I do.
Wow.
So this was a story for me that impacted me forever, that, okay, I'm going to keep at this, even if I hurt someone's feelings sometimes, which I don't mean to,
Yeah.
when and I say, hey, I'll be brutally honest when they say, hey, can you help me work out? Can you tell me what to eat, whatever. I was at my second go around as an RDC. So that's a drill sergeant for us in the Navy, recruit division commander. I went up there and you have to go, even where, if you were a drill sergeant in the past, they make you go through like a little 5-6 week refresher course.
Okay.
So I was up there 10 years later, okay, after I had already
Right.
been up there. So I'm sitting there in class, and the main female instructor that was at the schoolhouse teaching the new RDC. So you got to be stellar to be even
Yeah.
in that role. African American female and super fit, and I was like, man, she's rocking it. She was teaching us. She kept staring at me a little bit more than the rest of the class. And I thought, I'm in shape too. She's checking me out. Anyway, so she was like, she pulled me aside on break and she's like, man, you sound familiar. You look familiar. I can't pinpoint where I remember you. 10 minutes later, she just says, you were my RDC. You were my RDC back in like 2002. And I was like, were you my A-Rock? I remember this girl, but she was bigger girl,
Yeah. Yeah.
real, and she was super fit. So it took me a while, but then I remember who she was. She said, I will never forget the things that you would tell me when we were running around the track. And
Mm.
I always told myself I was never gonna I was gonna find you again. I was never gonna let you down. I wanted to show you, I wanted to prove to you.
Oh.
Um, when she made chief, she was a first class. I pinned on her anchor with her mom
Oh
on her,
my
and
God.
her parents even remembered me from the graduation, and they
Wow.
because she used to write letters about me. "Man, she's this, she's that, she's awesome." And so they really wanted to meet me and stuff, and, that that solidified that, yes, I'm hard on people
Mhm.
sometimes, especially the recruits because I'm in that role.
Yeah, yeah.
But even in my friends, even some of my friends, uh,
Right.
yeah, I am because I'm like, "Hey, you gotta take care of yourself because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else."
Facts.
That's how I look at your fitness, your mental state, your spiritual well-being. If you are not the best that you can be, you're not gonna give 100%. You're just
Yeah.
not. So yeah, I have so many goes around with that, with people reaching back out to me like, "Man, thank you so much for giving me that extra motivation and stuff." So I
Yeah.
say definitely God gave me that gift to just kind of be a motivator. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Like legitly. And like you said, it is validation.
She's an officer now. She
Look at
got
that.
commission.
That
Yeah.
is what's up. And I'm gonna tell you, if y'all don't know, so I follow Kristal on Facebook and facts, everything that she fit. Okay, so there was one time she had posted up something. I don't even remember what it was, but she had on this dress over
I
the
probably don't remember. Go
my
ahead.
response was like body, like legitly. That's what I was like, body, like OMG with the heart eyes, like for real. I see you in shape. I can tell. I can even tell like from your neck up looking. You got on a t-shirt, right? Like right now. Thanks.
Yeah.
Fitness is that is amazing. Like
I'm going
seriously.
to work out, that's why.
But I so love that, and it's so commendable. And to have people come back and say how you have inspired them and motivated them and pushed them, and you said she was like the top of the top teaching the class. Like what? Like to show you
She's
said full
fit.
circle, a full
She was
circle.
like Goggins. I was like, "Who is this
Like I
Terminator?"
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And self-care can be it can be different for everybody, like you said. People can
Yeah.
care for themselves in so many different ways. It could be fashion, it could be working out, it could be just
Yeah.
however you do it, taking care of your skin. It could be whatever you choose it to be, but it is you
Right.
have to care for yourself.
Yeah,
Period.
you don't have to be your overall best because you're at a certain weight or
Yeah,
you're at a certain fitness level. Like, no, that's just maybe a part of it.
yeah,
For me, it works, but it's different. It's a different thing for everybody. And by the way, because these people think I don't have time, I got to get a gym membership. I have not one gym membership. I
yeah.
have a 500 workout I do every day with 4 pieces of equipment that literally my daughters have gifted me. One got me a kettlebell one year. I got
Yeah.
some weights from my boyfriend one time, and
Right.
I have a corner in any part of my house,
Yeah,
hotel room, I could do my workout, my own body weight workouts. So 20 minutes a day.
yeah. I
Like people think, "Oh
love
my gosh,
it.
she probably has a gym membership and gets lipo and do." No, no, no. I
Right.
don't got money
No.
like that. I don't got money
Yeah.
like that.
No, I
And
love it.
yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. So definitely helping people figure it out. It's not a mountain you got to climb.
Yeah.
It's baby steps.
Yeah. No, thank you for that inspiration and that motivation and showing us what self-care looks like and or how it can be different for everybody. And because I
Yeah.
and you know what, staying fit, it is so good for your overall health. Like that is people don't know, man. Just working out, like you said, working 45 minutes or 30 minutes or 20 minutes a day or however, whatever, just getting
Yeah.
that movement can change your
Yes.
heart health, can change your brain fog
Your
or
mental.
whatever.
Yes.
You're getting older. We getting older. Like you, we
Yeah.
got all kinds of stuff. So just stay
Yes.
active, stay moving. So I love that.
Yes.
Absolutely love that. Thank you for that tip, girl. Last question. Question number 5. If you could give your younger military self one piece of advice, what would it be?
TSP. Put that money somewhere. Look,
That
money
that's a
grows. Okay.
gem. That is a gem. Like seriously. Seriously.
Ha-
So tell us
yeah.
more for the people who may not know. Tell us
Okay.
more about what you know about TSP and how you can
So
educate us quickly on that.
most people know about 401k.
Yeah.
If you are working for somebody that is not giving you free money, if they are not matching something that you're putting in, okay, don't work for them.
Yeah.
It's a means to an end. That job
Right.
is just they're temporary,
Yeah.
okay? If they're not giving you something back, I mean, I say for free.
Yeah.
Someone's always making money somewhere, some way. But
Yeah.
it is initially, if I give 5% and you're going to match up to 3 or 5 or 6, some of these companies are doing
Yeah.
8, get on it. I tell, man, I know this is terrible, but I lie to my recruits. I said, you have to give 5. There's no option. You will all give 5%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when
It-
they sign their stuff, nope, you can't. You got it. I'm
right.
sorry, you can't get five.
Right.
Got
Helping
it.
you
Sorry,
save your money, okay? Helping you because we already know how you gonna do these young people today. Like that's
you're
legit.
five. Yes. No, and I have a story, and I have a story for everything because it's what motivated me to really realize how great TSP was, or
Yeah.
just having a 401k, putting money away, and just forget about it. Because let's be honest, if you don't know you have it, you ain't gonna spend it.
Yeah.
That's
Facts.
just how money works for most people.
Yeah.
So I was like, this TSP thing, whatever, never even checked up on it back in the day. We didn't have the app on our phone. It
Yeah.
was like we had to call somebody. I don't know what my pin is. Okay, 3 weeks later it gets mailed. So it
Right.
just was growing in there. And I was in, I don't know, maybe 7 years at the time. My dad passed away in Mexico. He had cancer. He knew he was going to pass away. He did not like chemotherapy. He was hardcore Mexican, wanted to go back to the ranch and die. And I said, hey, I'm all for it. He,
Yeah.
he hated chemo. So I knew he only had about 3 months probably when he went back. When he passed away in Mexico, they don't embalm bodies. So it was like, hey, we're praying for 2 days and he's going to get buried. So I had to leave. I had to go over there. I was the executor for everything. He had saved up money. He actually had a little nest egg. So I was the executor. And oh man, I remember thinking, how much for the funeral? How much for the flights? I had to fly. My brother was broke as heck. So I was flying people over to Mexico, all this. And it was a good, like probably 13 grand. And I was like,
Yeah.
at that time, new mom, married, newly married. I was like, man, we do not have 13,000. And my senior chief, great mentor, look into your TSP. I didn't even think you could even
Mhm.
borrow. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Didn't even check. Finally got my login and everything real quick. Like, well, I got to start planning. Man, I had like, I don't remember, 20, 30 grand or something.
Yeah.
This has a little E3 when I started or whatever
Right.
to E5 at the time. And I thought, what the heck?
Right.
And I remember because I had called Navy Federal to try to get a loan to help me out. And I was like, that's a high interest. It was like a personal loan back then. We could
Yeah.
still get it for like probably 7 or 8%. Now personal loans are like, 15%.
Right.
I borrowed against my TSP, took, I think, 10 grand out, got it in 2 days, and it was only 3% payback. And
Yeah.
I just thought, man, I'm my own bank. I am my own bank.
Facts.
I'm my
Facts.
own bank. Like, I don't need to worry about, oh my gosh, am I going to get approved?
Yeah.
So, I always tell the sailors, and I said, man, my younger job, I would have put 10%. I
Mhm.
just, if it's not there, you
Yeah.
won't think about it. You won't be tempted because it's not there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of times you don't need it.
That's true.
You don't need it.
So
You don't
true.
need it. Yeah, less is more, people.
You're right.
Less is more.
I so love that, and that is a gem. Like people do not know how valuable your own money is if you're putting it away and how you could use it in life and in your future. You don't know the value of that, honestly. And I'm so grateful for you bringing that up because I've even done that even in my life now for investments, like for my flips and for so you can do that for anything that comes up in your life, but you cannot do it
Correct.
if you don't put the money away. So you have to put something away. That is the key. That is the gem. And if you
Yeah.
can do it, start now if you're young and you're just in the military, or
Yes.
it doesn't even matter if you're older, like just
Right.
put something away because
And
it is,
spread it around.
yeah,
You gotta spread it around because, one place you're gonna hear so many things, so you
yeah,
might as well spread it around. That's just how I look at it. Do a IRA eventually, do the
yeah,
TSP, do your stocks, do your general ones that are probably always gonna grow, and then if you really have the time or you have some help, do maybe some of the riskier ones. I'm not a gambler, so I don't.
right,
But my thing is, I hate losing money.
yeah.
I just feel like people get too much information. So just stick with something. Something's better than nothing.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the gem. Do something. Put a little bit away.
Yeah.
Like that is so good. I'm so grateful for you bringing it up because so many people don't know about that. Like seriously. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on and just sharing your story, dropping all of the gems, and just oh my God, our catching up even before I was down laughing, y'all. Like I am so grateful. I want to know what you're doing now in your civilian life. Is there anything that the viewers or people watching can how can they support you? How can they show up for you? Tell us all the things where we can follow you, find you, and all of
Well, showing up for me is I want you guys to be the best you can be. Like giving information and seeing someone grow from the information I gave them to me is the best gift I've ever gotten in this life.
that. Love it.
I have goosebumps right now thinking about the people's lives I've touched just by helping them out with USA jobs.
Yeah.
10 minutes, sit down with them. Best thing you can do is I'm telling you right now, before you get out, make a resume on not just USA Jobs, get your and I don't even have a LinkedIn. I've been telling myself all the time. I got carried with USA Jobs and I never got one LinkedIn, but LinkedIn, uh, making sure that you are set up a year before you get out the military, not 6 months. They say 6 months, it needs to be a year.
Yeah.
Um, I think for me, the biggest thing was one of my old senior chiefs, my mentor, he said, "Look, get USA Jobs, get on there and make sure that you start applying way before you get out because those government jobs will hold your position for 3 years if you get hired, up to 3 years if you're still inactive. That's how much they want you. That's how much you're willing to wait." So yeah, I say please prepare yourself when you guys get out because it's way less anxiety on you if you're prepared. I had a lot of luck with USA Jobs right now. So I did Border Patrol and ICE. I was a deportation officer, and I was a Border Patrol agent with U.S. Border Patrol. So I did 3 years of Border Patrol and 7 years with ICE. That's 10 years total. I went back and forth because I was a reservist for 10 years. So that was my main job. And then I was a reservist. So they call it double dipping. And I maximized both. I maxed my points out as reservist and I climbed the ladder. So I made it pretty far, just 12 step five, which for a lot of you military is well over 100 grand a year. And to be honest with you, I started from the ground up because in Border Patrol, you don't even need a bachelor's. I had one, but you don't even need it. And they look at that military time. They give you your leave. You can buy back your military time. So I maxed all that out, bought all as much as I could. It's how many paychecks you can get
Yeah.
at a certain age. I tell people that all the time.
Wow.
How many checks can I get and sit back and just
Right.
wake up every morning and be like,
Right.
and that's I'm sorry, but I got kids to feed. So for
Yeah.
me, it worked. Doing the reserves, I maxed out. So I'll have that full retirement for the military. Make sure you go to medical because,
Yeah.
if you got something wrong and it's not in there, it's going to be really hard to prove later on.
Yeah. Facts.
um, yeah. So, I got the military, I got my GS, my government, the disability. And then if we're lucky enough to see Social Security, right? um, so yeah, so I definitely say, hey, prepare. I love the government jobs, even though it's scary right now. People are saying they're losing so many, and Trump's
Yeah.
trying to do that. Look, you can hear all this. What's really going on is the government jobs are still hiring. Okay, I just got hired after 10 years. I said I want to leave law enforcement. I want to be a little more on the down slow.
You're
I
right.
want to spend more time with the kids. I mean, deportation officer. I was flying around. I started acting. I felt like I was in the military again. I was like, nope, I
Right.
did my time already. I
Right.
want
Right.
9 to 5. Where's 9 to 5? So I had a role in the military as a sexual assault victim advocate. They, um, Johnson, who was the SecDef before Hegseth, he said, hey, the biggest complaint is they want the advocates for the sexual assault victims in the military not being in the military. They
Okay.
felt more comfortable if it was a civilian advocate. So they slowly started changing over, like about across all the services, probably close to maybe 5,000 advocate spots total.
Hmm.
So there are a lot on USA Jobs. So those are starting at 9, go all the way to 11.
Yeah.
So they maxed me out as a step 10, and now I'll be starting out because if you guys don't know, GS carries over. If you're a GS, you
Yeah.
can go to another GS spot, and they're going to have to give you that pay. So I'll be doing a sexual assault victim advocate for the Marine Corps, which is, still Department of the Navy,
Yeah.
but for the Marine Corps in 29 Palms. So 2 hours from Los Angeles, 2.5 hours from Los Angeles, about.
Nice.
So I'll get closer to my family here in California. But yeah, so I'll start August 25th on my new, hopefully forever job.
Yeah. 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 We claiming that. We
Yes.
claiming it your forever
Yeah.
job.
And
Yep.
again, maxing out that pension,
Yeah.
guys, so you can just sit back as a grandma and not have to worry,
I
you know?
love it. I
So
love
yeah,
it.
that's I'm a busybody, I get bored, so yeah, I've
Okay.
had a lot of different hats, but, you learn and you grow, and, hopefully this is my last job. It might not be, who knows? So
Yes. I love that. Thank you, Crystal, for just coming through, showing up,
yes.
sharing all of these gems. Like I said, sharing your story. Like it's just so powerful to hear women veteran talk about just their time and service and what they did and what they're doing and just how they transition, who they become. Like that is amazing for women to hear. And women who are not necessarily just transitioning from the military, but
Right.
transitioning from whatever career you may be in or just whatever phase in life. These stories are so inspirational and so inspiring. And I just appreciate the you for coming on and sharing that, right? Because people need to hear it. People they they
Yes,
they, they absolutely
those
need to hear
collateral
it.
duties that you do in the military,
Yep.
they will transition into an amazing job. I was a radio man slash information systems tech. I was a technical. I'm not a social worker, but I
Yeah.
did that in the military. I
Yeah.
also carried over those same tools the Navy gave me into Border Patrol and ICE because they also have a similar role that helps the women that are migrants over here that were sexually assaulted. So I was also active in that. So I was able to write my resume. Again, it's all
Yeah.
about how you write your resume. You don't have to be an expert. What does it say that you did? And yes, I hope y'all really hearing those collateral duties you do in the military will transfer over to some really high paying jobs. Equal opportunity advisor, huge one as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
keep
facts, facts. Because in the government now, folks is doing stuff.
yes to each other.
Like
Yes, yeah,
exactly. So that is a fact for sure.
yes,
No, I totally appreciate you. Thank you so much, Chris.
yes.
We
You're welcome
appreciate all of
anytime.
the gems, all of the tools. And yeah, we love you and we support you. We lift you up, send you all the light and love. And until next time, everyone, go watch the previous episodes if you're not caught up and stay tuned for Fridays when the newest drop. Bye.
Bye. See you later.